Hello and welcome back to Coding with T. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to fetch all the customers and display to your admin along with the details of each customer. We are also going to fetch the specific orders based on the customer. So first of all, let's quickly have a look what we are going to create. So let's open your browser. Once your application is logged in, you are inside your admin panel and let's go to the customers portal and you can see all the customers who already created account inside our application are here. Okay, let's say we have these customers and in here you can see some customers have their own pictures. So let's click on this one. You can see we are loading the shipping address and order details of their specific customer with two different loaders, and we're displaying first of all the customer information, name of the customer at the top. We have its picture, name, email, username if any, then the country. We do not have the phone number. Then this one is static currently, last order, average order value, email marketing, registered. You can customize these values as per your own need. Then we have shipping address dynamically configured. Then down below we have all the details or all the orders based on this customer. So let's say click on this specific order. And now you can see we have all the order detail with the tax, shipping cost, its transaction, what is the status of this order, and these are the details of the customer again. You can go back and work on all these operations. At the top, we have total spend items. So we're going to create these two screens in today's tutorial. So let's get started. Okay, we are getting Flutter e-commerce admin panel and we are at the last section in which we're going to fetch all the customer information, and then the last tutorial is about to fetch settings and profile information and also to update them. After this, we're going to create a tutorial on how to load all the dynamic information inside our dashboard. And once everything is created and completed, we are going to deploy this application inside our Firebase hosting platform. So let's get started. We are inside our e-commerce admin panel and we have to first again, if you see the design, first of all, we are going to from the design, once the design is appeared, we will go toward the second screen, which is the controller, which is actually a class. All these things are classes. Design class is going to request to the controller. Controller is going to verify the request and ask the repository to get the cloud data. If there is no request related to the cloud data, controller is simply not going to go for the repository. And once we reach to the repository will contain all the functions like create, read, update, delete from the Firebase database, actually Firestore. And once we receive the data from Firestore, it is going to be a JSON data, and we have to convert that JSON data into the model format. So we will send that to the model. It is the responsibility of the model to convert that JSON on top of its own model and send a copy back to repository. Repository will contain complete it as a list or a single value, send back to the controller, and controller will send back to the design. So basically we need these four things. Design is already completed. So let's start from the left to right, start with the model, then repository, then controller, and then design. So inside our e-commerce admin panel, the first thing is the model. So go to the shop models. Actually, it is a user model. We are representing the user as a customer. So in the personalization, you can see we have the user model over here. This is the user model that we created while storing or registering our user inside app, also for the admin panel. And you can see we have the list of orders of this user and also list of address models for this user. So let's now go into these details. We have all the variables. Then this is the constructor, some helper methods like first name, formatted phone number, etc., empty method, and then two JSON function to send data to the database. If you want to update this user, create new user, then you need this one so that you can convert that model data into a JSON format. And if you're receiving the data from the Firebase, it will receive in the document snapshot and extract the JSON which is inside this data. Once you have that JSON, you can map that JSON back to your model, return this user model to the repository. Once the model is ready, let's close the model and go to the data in the repositories. Open the user repository because again the user is actually a customer, so it has functions. First of all, we have the instance of Firebase using Firebase firestore.instance. We have create user method. We are not creating user in this tutorial, but rather we are going to fetch all the users from the users, and we have to order by using first name. So you can order by them with the date when created, so it's up to you. So we have all the users over here. We're going to get those users, map them on the user model, and return a list of user model back to from where it is called. Then we have fetch user details. If we have some specific ID of the user, we are going to pass it over here, and based on that, we are going to get the single user model, means one single user. Likewise, the function that we created earlier, if you follow the tutorial, which is to fetch admin details, we use this one to fetch that specific detail of the admin. And this is the function which is to fetch user orders. We are going to pass the user ID, and instead of going to the users collection, we will go to the orders collection where user ID is equal to this one, and we will get all those orders based on this user ID, map them on the user model as a list, and return this list back to where it is called update user information, update single field, and down below this one is delete user. If you want to delete it, we will pass the user ID, which is the document ID of users collection, and based on that we will call the delete operation. Okay, once repository is also ready and the model is ready, we can go to the next thing, which is controllers. So let's go to the shop controllers, and we have the customer controller. So first one is the customer controller. If you're following, you know that we have the base controller class, and the base controller class is this time treated as the user model. If you open this base controller class, it has a type of T, means it is now in this case it is a type of user model. We have all the variables defined because the base class and the customer class has a relationship of parent child. As we implemented inheritance, we cover this base controller, which is abstract class, in detail in this same section, which is the last section. I think it's fifth video of this section. If you want to watch that, I'll drop the complete playlist link and also sections link separately down below in the description. So this child class is able to access all the variables of the parent class and all those functions of these parent class, right? We have these three functions which are not implemented and should be implemented by the child classes who are using this T-base class as the parent class. Likewise, this one, so it has to override fetch items, search, and delete item, right? Again, because we cover each and every concept in the previous videos, to save the time, I'm not going to go into that detail again. But if you have any confusion, you can ask me the question in the comments and I'll try to answer that. So first of all, to fetch the items, we are going to call the customer repository with the instance using get.put. Once we have the instance of this class, we are able to access functions from user repository, and we are going to call get all users, and we will return the list to all the users. And this function is actually created in the base controller. So if we see that once we have all the items returned, or all the users, or in this case all the customers returned from this function, will assign to this local list. Type T means user model, and all the users will be stored in the all items and filtered items, and the same number of selected rows will be created. Then to search specific thing, we have to use this query word. We are going to call item dot full name dot to lowercase dot contains this thing, and we will return it from here. Then delete item, again use customer repository dot delete user, and we will pass the user model or simply the user ID like this. Once this controller is ready, let's close it. Before going to the detailed part, let's first go to the screens, and in the customers, let's open all the customers, go to the customers.dart, and let's first go to the desktop, which is this one. So first of all, as in the all same previous tutorials, we have to create the instance of customer controller so that we can access everything inside this customer along with its abstract or the parent class. So we have this controller over here. Based on that controller, we are going to call the T table header. It is for the search feature, and we have to pass search controller, search text controller, and search on change. We have to call the search query method. This method is inside abstract class, and this function of contain search query is implemented by its child class, which is customer controller. We have to use all those things in the desktop, mobile, and tablet, and also in order to show the loader. Meanwhile, the table is fetching its records. We have to wrap this with a widget of OBX, and inside this OBX, we are going to return the customer table. But first, we are going to see that if loader is working, or if it is loading, means it is fetching the data from the database, then we want to display this one. Otherwise, we are not going to return this widget. Rather, we are going to return our customer table. And the same thing we are going to use inside mobile and tablet. So by this way, we have implemented the search, and also we have implemented the loader. Once the data arrived, customer table will be displayed, which is right over here in the data table. And in the customer table, we again need the instance of customer controller. You can call customer controller dot instance as well. And we have the OBX, which is going to redraw this paginated data table whenever there is change in the ascending order. Let's say we are sorting the data. Let's say we are going to search something using filtered items. And let me remove these two variables because they are not needed. You can use them as well if you want, but these two text widgets are not going to be printed out to the user because we are returning this data table instead of these two widgets. These two widgets are just to trigger the UI change. So whenever there is change in the filtered items, when user is going to search something, then we want to update this table again to display the latest data. For that, we have these two things over here, and we have sort ascending and sort column index assigned. And in order to sort the data on top of customer, we have on sort means sort by name, and we will receive the column index and this index passed to sort by name, in which we have sort by property already implemented by base data controller. And as a property, what we want to sort order dot or the customer dot full name dot toString. Okay, once all the customer information is arrived, let's go to the rows. And to make the rows dynamic, again we need customer controller instance, and we have to get a single customer from the filtered items based on this index provided by this function. We have the customer. On the row on tap, we will redirect this customer to the customer detail screen, and we are going to pass the argument as a customer. And if you watch the previous tutorial, we learned that how we can pass the parameters. We already covered a complete section in this playlist, which is routing and navigation. You better watch that if you don't know what are these arguments and parameters. But if you want to show a URL or create a URL of that specific customer, again, you need to create a parameter because parameters will go inside the URL. And for the parameter, you need a JSON of string and string. You need to define a key here, and based on that key, you need to define a string type of value. So for the key, let's say this is customer ID, and what ID you want to show. Let's use customer dot ID, and if it is going to be null, we will simply display it like this. This means that in case if there is no customer passed using arguments, because the main method that we are following is this one, which is we are passing the customer from here as an argument. We're going to receive that customer inside customer detail screens. But if there is other case in which we do not have the customer, but user directly search our customer detail screen as a URL, and you want to use this customer ID to show a single specific customer, then this is how we are going to pass that. Based on this customer ID, we will be able to fetch the customer detail. Now, when the row is selected, we have to check from the selected rows. If it is selected or the current index is selected, we will return true. It means it is selected. If it is false, means this row is not selected. And when I'm going to click on that row, there is a change triggered, and we will return boolean value. We will again assign that boolean value back to the selected row at current index, either true or false. Then for the user image, we are going to use image type.network, customer.profile picture, then customer full name, email, phone number, and if created at is null, use customer.formatted date, otherwise empty. Then for the action buttons, again, let me copy this parameter part, and down below on the on view, we are passing the arguments. But also if you need to pass the parameters, this is how we are going to pass it. You can pass even more details like custom information, name, whatever you want to pass. So on the on delete, we simply call the confirmation method, which is inside the abstract class, which is going to display a pop-up, and its on click will trigger the actual delete method. Down below, we have three overrides. Row approximate is false, row count is filtered items dot length, and selected row is selected rows where selected values are true, and we have to get that length. Okay, by this way, we are completed with displaying all the records. Now let's run this application. And meanwhile that application is running, we can now talk about the controller first. Go to the customer and customer detail controller. Inside customer detail controller, we actually have two things. The first thing is orders loading. The second one is addresses loading, right? So we're not extending with the base controller. So for that, we need again a sort column index, sort ascending, selected rows, list of customers, and bunch of other things. We can also extend it with our base controller, and we do not need these few things, but that's up to you. You can take it as your homework. So we have two loaders, two Boolean variables actually. Orders are loading and addresses are loading. So we will treat them separately. Then we have indexes. You can watch again. I'm not going to cover these tables again. Rather, you can watch the previous videos. But we have this column index in which we're going to display all the orders, and also we have ascending, descending sort. Selected rows means the number of rows selected. Then this customer is actually going to get the specific value that we want to display. So this is the customer which should load all the customer information either from the arguments or from the parameters. Then we have the get customer orders because we are displaying the customer details from here, but we need to get the customer orders as well. So we'll start orders loading like this. And if customer.value.id is not null and also means customer ID is there, then we're going to call the fetch user orders from the user repository to fetch all the orders of this specific customer, and we'll store them inside our customer variable dot orders. Because if you go to the user model, inside you can see we have list of order models, so we can store that data inside our orders. Then we have to update all customer orders using assign all because it is a list of all customer orders, and then filtered customer orders for the data table. Again, we have to update them. Selected rows will be generated with the number of orders dot length, and all will be false. Then to get customer addresses, we're going to do the same thing, but because we only need one address, so we will simply go to the address repository dot fetch user address and whatever user address was stored. And if you want to see this method in the address repository, this is the address repository. We will get that user ID, and in the collection of addresses, we will get that address. So all the addresses are stored in the sub collection of users. So you have to first call the main collection, then the document ID, then collection of addresses means the sub collection. You can update like this and add address like this. Okay, once done, for the search query for the customer orders, you can call it or you can search it based on these values. Then we have sort by ID. So again, these things are already covered. So once this one is created, let's go to customer details. And first of all, in the customer, we're going to receive the customer as get.arguments. And if you want to fetch the customer ID from the parameter, you can check that if this customer is not null, then you want to fetch the ID, and based on that ID, you need to load the customer information from the database. So it's up to you. We are using the arguments and we are passing the customer over here. And to get data from the parameters, you have to use get.parameters, and over here you have to pass the key which is used to store the information, which was customer ID. So from the URL, it's going to get that value of this key and return it over here. Okay, now once we have that customer, we are going to go to the desktop screen. And once we receive that customer, we are going to assign that specific customer we have over here by first creating the instance of our customer detail controller. And we will assign this customer to the customer of type RX so that we can identify any change in it. Then in the headings, we will first of all display customer full name. Then in the customer information, we are going to display the customer as it is, and then shipping method. So first of all, let's see customer information. This one is already actually covered in the address section because it is very much same. So once we have this customer, we'll use customer profile picture to display it, otherwise static image. Same for the image type, full name, email. Then we have customer username and we have country. Currently, we're not taking the country, so by default it is UK or whatever country you want to assign. In order to use the country, make sure to get country while registering your user. Then we have the customer phone number. These two things, last order and average order value, can be easily calculated from the orders, but in this case, they are static. Then we have registered customer dot formatted date, and email marketing is again static with the subscribed. After the customer information, we have shipping address for this specific customer. So first of all, because we are loading the address of our customer, so it is not actually shipping address. It is a simple address, or you can call it a main address of the user. So we need to create the instance of our customer detail controller, and we need to call get customer addresses. This function, which is going to start the loader of address loader, then it is going to fetch all the data from our address repository, and it is going to assign that address inside the customers again, which is this variable. So once it is loading, we're going to first check if address loader is loading, then we're going to return the loader. Otherwise, we're going to use the selected address as empty. If customer.value.address is not empty, means not null, and also it is not empty, then we're going to go to the customer in the addresses where element dot selected address dot single means we have a value in the addresses which is selected address. If you see the address model, we have a boolean value stored inside database as selected address. Only one address will be true. So when user is going to select any of his address, we're going to now fetch and display that address. So to do that, to get the selected address, we have to use the where clause. And once we have the selected address, we can go to the shipping. It is actually not a shipping address, but this default address of user. Then in the name, we can use selected address dot name, selected address dot country, phone number, and at the end for the complete address, if selected address ID is not empty, we have the selected address, then we're going to call selected address dot toString. And if you go to the toString implementation, we have override this inside our address model. Dot toString is going to combine all those variables and display it to the admin. Okay, all the information is completed. We just left with the customer orders, and in the customer orders, we need to again create customer detail controller instance and get customer orders. Same way we done for the addresses. We have the OBX. If customer orders is loading, we will display the loader animation. Else, if all customer orders are empty, we're going to display that you do not have any orders. And then the next case, we have to compute or calculate all the values or all the total amount of the customer order. So we will have all customer orders, which we just fetched from the database. Dot fold is going to sum all the values one by one, starting from 0, previous value plus element dot total amount. So we're going to get the total amount of each order, and we will sum up all those orders with the total amount of this user's all orders total, right? So then we have orders. Total spent, we're going to display total amount dot toString like this. On how much orders? Again, because this is text dot rich, so we can combine these things on this much number of orders, all customer orders dot length. So from these number of orders, this much of amount is spent by this customer. And then we have down below, first of all, we have a search field on change to search the query. This is a controller assigned, and then customer order table. The same customer order table as we created all the other tables. This is how we are going to display our columns, and in the customer order rows, we're going to use filtered customer orders from customer details, extract single order at a time. Total amount will be used or sum up using fold again on tab selected, and these are the cells. And when the row is going to be tabbed, you can see we're going to call get.toNamed order details, and as an argument, we're going to pass the order. So remember, if you're receiving the order as argument, you have to pass it like this. If you're receiving the order like a parameter, you have to pass the ID as well. So then we have the row count, row expected. So this is it for the backend and for the design. Now let's see how the application is going to look like. Click on login. Okay, now let's go to the customers. Data is loading, and we have 4 customers inside this project. These are the dummy data. So let's select this one, maybe the first one. It has JSON reader dot set lenient. Okay, we have an exception because we do not have that specific JSON that we are passing over here. So the customer details, go to the table, data table. You can see we have the animation, which is the product illustration. We do not have this animation. I think we actually declare this one as an animation, but we do not have anything inside it. It is an empty, and if you open the T animation loader widget, it is requiring that. Okay, so the issue is that we are passing the PNG file, sorry, the GIF file, but it requires the Lottie asset. For that, I'm going to go in the image strings where we have defined all the Lottie files. Let's use the pencil animation. Let's remove the constant. Now let's save it. You can see at the top, we are actually not fetching the customer like this, but at the top, we have customer ID is equal to this ID. So based on this ID, we can easily extract the customer, but this time it is not going to work because user model is null. So if you work on this model, you can easily refresh these URLs. Otherwise, you have to go back and again get the customer details. Okay, so our application is running, and this time let's click on this one again. It is again loading the data. And you can see this time we have some animation, no orders found. Addresses is again empty because this one is old record and we do not have that specific address and orders for this one. Let's go with the CWT admin. Also, this one is empty. So let's open this last one. And yes, we have the address of this one, and also we have all the details that we are looking for this one. So let me click on, but first let's try to search something. Let's try to search the first one, which is 3F. Okay, it is working. Search is working. Let's do the sorting. Sorting is also working, I guess. I think the sorting should be on this date time rather on the order ID. So we have the order total spend on 10 orders. We have 10 orders. Let's click on any of the order and you can see we can get all the details of this specific order. The order details and the orders screen was created in the previous tutorial. So by this way, we are end up with designing all these things, whereas media is completed in both backend and front end. Categories, brands, banners, products, customers, orders, everything is completed as compared to backend and front end. And now the next tutorial is about to create the profile, update the profile, and also the settings. These two are very much identical, so I'm going to cover them in one video and I'm going to leave one as assignment. If we're going to create this one, you can create the settings as an assignment, or if we're going to create the settings screen, you can use the profile as an assignment. So once this is done, we will be at the end of next video almost completed by fetching and displaying all the information. And the last thing is we will go to the dashboard and we'll try to make these things as dynamic based on the orders we already have over here. So before watching the dashboard, make sure you watch the order screens. And by this way, we are end up with today's tutorial. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comments. And if you want to download the complete code or you want to watch the complete playlist, I'll drop the link in the description or simply visit codingwitht.com. Once again, thank you for watching and take care.